me just.
I can tell you about my barriers. There are more than 46,000 collateral consequences to one felony conviction in the United States of America.
What did you do? What did you do to go to jail?
I was involved in criminal enterprising.
There you go. So, let me just say this. The reason that I say that is because it's the same person in the mirror. The justice system, the white man, systemic racism, none of that had anything to do with the reason why you went to prison.
Nah, I didn't.
We want to go on the back end and say, well, I have 10 white people, I need 3 more black people, I'm just gonna hire them because we need to meet a quota. That's not the way to do it, because they come, they're unprepared, and they're not gonna be successful. What we need to do is help them on the back end, make sure they're successful and prepared, send them out in the workforce where they are competitive, and therefore they can compete just like everybody else.
Systematically that are set up so that we as black people have a harder time succeeding economically, and it's embedded and bred into our culture. And so when we talk about fatherlessness, you know, that's a byproduct of a number of different issues. But if we had the economic power that many of our counterparts enjoy in this country, some of the issues that we face, we wouldn't have those.
Officer Tatum, you want to weigh in on this topic?
Yeah, I think that a lot of our issue comes from right here in the mind. And I would say that leads from the lack of education. The reason we vote the way we do is from a lack of education. The reason that we think, and no disrespect to the young lady, that we think that somehow our issues are external is a lack of education and knowledge. I honestly believe that we are the arbiters of our success. If we have problems in the inner city communities, we have to look in the mirror first. We have to look in the mirror first.
The other day, I was reflecting on my grandmother, and I was raised by my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. Both my parents were incarcerated on a federal level when I was approximately 5 years old. And I thought about something. My grandmother told me one day, she said, "Do you know that you are the first generation that was born free in this country?"
Come on.
I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "You were born in late 1970s. And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, when I was born one generation from a descendant of a slave. When your mother was born, she was born in Jim Crow. And so I was the first generation that was born fully free in this country." Why am I bringing that up? I'm glad that you asked that question. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because we are not too far removed from the institutional racism as it relates to signs, as it relates to legislation, etc., that keeps people like you, like me, like her, and like you, successful brother, in bondage.
Can I jump in on this real quick?
Brandon, before you do.
And let me say this, you know, even though you were the first generation, look at how much you've been able to accomplish. How much barriers do you have if you've been able to accomplish so much and you're only the first generation?
Well, let me tell you about my barriers.
So
as a felon, as a person with a felony conviction.
Let me just.
I can tell you about my barriers. There are more than 46,000 collateral consequences to one felony conviction in the United States of America.
What did you do? What did you do to go to jail?
I was involved in criminal enterprising.
There you go. So. Let me just say this. The reason that I say that is because it's the same person in the mirror. The justice system, the white man, systemic racism, none of that had anything to do with the reason why you went to prison.
Nah, I didn't.
The lack of accountability. You sit here and wax all poetic about how you're the first generation and this, that, and the third, and how hard it is and how you had to struggle. And then what's the key issue? Personal accountability. You made a choice and you have to live with it. Stop being a criminal. That's how you change your lot in life. Absolutely ridiculous how you could sit here on this panel and then complain, and then it's like, wait, what'd you do? I was involved in a criminal enterprise. Hi guys, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out my channel for content just like this.
You actually get prosecuted by a white man. I got prosecuted by a black prosecutor. I got prosecuted by a black, I got sentenced by a black judge. This wasn't about white. This wasn't about black.
Hang on one second.
The system in and of itself, I'm telling you, the reason why you went there and I didn't is because decisions that you made and I didn't make those decisions. And the reason why you're successful now are the positive decisions that you made learning from the experience. Those are decisions that you're making are the arbiters of your success. It has nothing to do with these external factors. You were able to get out of prison, have the experience, and now you're able to free other people. In America, you can do that. In other places, I can't attest to that. But America forced that opportunity. There's no systems that have stopped you, have it? I think that is damaging now by having diversity, inclusion, and all that stuff. What it does is it separates us.
What?
It really does. It separates
How?
us because
You don't want people to know about our culture?
I am an entrepreneur. I hire people for a living. I do not discriminate against individuals who come to my workforce. If I have qualified black people, I'm going to hire qualified black people. What we should be focusing on is having them qualified instead of just giving them a handout because we need to reach numbers.
That this has to be said is a sad indictment on society, that people truly have an issue with merit, that people are truly opposed to merit, that we should always be looking for the most qualified individuals. That is the most confusing thing for me, that people have an issue with merit. Is there any stronger indication that you're insecure about your abilities to perform than to be opposed to merit? Why wouldn't you want to compete? Why wouldn't that excite you? Why wouldn't such a thing inspire you to be great? The idea that you will be judged based on your performance and nothing else, that you can't even control. And all it does is create bad incentive structures. We're entering a sort of tyranny of the weak.
We need young, this is the problem that's happening. I'm gonna shut up, I promise. The problem that's happening is that we're not focused on making sure these young people are successful coming out of school. They're prepared to go to work. They're prepared to interview. We're not prepping them there. We wanna go on the back end and say, well, I have 10 white people, I need 3 more black people, I'm just gonna hire them because we need to meet a quota. That's not the way to do it because they come, they're unprepared, and they're not gonna be successful. What we need to do is help them on the back end, make sure they're successful and prepared, send them out in the workforce where they are competitive, and therefore they can compete just like everybody else.
I was raised by a single parent, and I feel that I'm considered one of the people that is successful when we talk about, what success looks like within the black community. But even still, even being raised, in a single family, being educated, having a successful job, a successful career, I still understand that there are systematic things in this country that are against me. And I don't care how people look at that.
One.
I look in the banking. I talked about that earlier. The ability to
No, for you.
For me, I'm saying banking, yes, specifically. So just to give you a real life example, in 2020 during the pandemic, I went to my bank. I have good credit. I've paid back my student loans. I, don't have any outstanding debt to income ratio, and I could not get $60,000. And I asked my bank, why was I denied a person who has A1 credit, don't have any student loans? I have, 2 or 3 properties. Why am I being denied a $60,000 personal loan? And you know what?
They said because you're black?
They didn't give me an answer.
But how do you know it's because you're black?
What I'm saying is, wait a minute, there are
how
no
do you know it's
indicators.
because of the color of your skin?
What I'm saying is, there are no indicators for why I should have been denied. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know that any white people have been denied with the same qualification?
I don't know because I didn't go out and poll white people.
This is sad. I don't even have words for this. This is sad. You just default to black? Like what? That's your solution. You just default to because I'm black. This is a caricature. This is a cartoon. You default to because I'm black? The way you engage with the world is if any undesirable event takes place, it's because I'm black. That's the way you engage with the world. When the cops stop you, it's because you're black. If you can't identify the reasons as to why an undesirable event took place, it's because you're black. You have a default to black condition. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
No way.
This isn't a conversation about white people. This is a conversation about me.
No, but there's no way.
You're acknowledging a hindrance to
I'm acknowledging a hindrance in what you're considering to be a successful person, doing what they're supposed to do, going out and working, having good credit, paying their bills on time, and still being denied with no reason given.
As a black
person.
person.
As a
You're
black
saying
person.
that happened to you
I'm saying
because
that
you were
happened
black.
to me. What I'm saying is, yes,
happened.
I'm saying it happened.
Okay.
And I happen to be black, yes.
Alea, I want to talk about
But
immigration.
wait a minute, I'd like Brandon to respond to that. I see you sat back, you're frustrated.
Listen.
I'd like you to respond.
I will.
Yeah.
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All I want to say is that I can fight with you if we have evidence. If you went to the bank and you have evidence that they've been giving loans to people with equal qualification as you have, and because you being black, they denied you, let's go to the bank and let's show up. Let's pull up. Okay. But the thing is that it's not fair to make that determination without unequivocal facts, because what it does is it generates this idea that it's because you're black. There may be something or that you could have changed on you when you made the application or not that could have caused you to get the loan. There are some educational points there that could have been effective, but you can't just say it's your race, because then you're telling the next young person and the next young black person, and before you know it, they don't even give it a try when you're saying something that's not verified.
No, I'm not saying. I'm gonna let you get your applause. What I'm saying is the same grace that you're asking me to give the bank and saying that maybe it didn't happen because I'm black, I'm asking for that same grace to say that that absolutely could have been a qualifier in their decision to deny me, but they didn't give me that information.
That same grace. So why not add more grace to that? So why not give the same grace to, maybe it was because you had the way your eyeballs looked. Maybe it's because of whatever shoes you were wearing that day. Why did you zero in on the skin color characteristic? Is it because when you're obsessed with race, you see it everywhere?
And so the same way that I'm making an example that we don't know. So
It could have been
just as you're
because you were female. It could have been because of
Brandon,
anything.
You don't
It
know.
could have been
I don't know
it
because
could have
you know
been
what? They didn't give me the information.
They could have been jealous of you. They see you
It
come
could have
in
been
looking
anything.
nice. They hating on you. It could have been hating. It could have been because you're a
Hates
woman.
do
It could have
not
been
like
because
pink.
who
I
knows?
have
What
the
I'm
facts
also
on
just
that.
asking you to consider is that it also could have been my race. That's
I-
all I'm
I
asking you
do.
to consider.
I know,
I'm
I do.
asking you to
I
consider
got 2
that as
minutes.
well.
I think that that's fair to consider that, and I will, but we cannot make the determination, right? But we'll consider it. You know, in this country, if black people, if we're caring about what our efforts are and our effectiveness in this country is, if we get overtaken by people who shouldn't even be in this country, that didn't fight to belong in this country, didn't die, didn't shed blood, wasn't in the Civil War, wasn't a slave in this country. The law wasn't even prepared for people to come here illegally. It was prepared for black people who belong here. If we get overtaken by them, then what are we gonna do? We're having abortions at a crazy rate. Therefore, we're not populating. We're at 12%. We're probably at 11% of the population. If there are 60% of the population, when we show up to vote, what kind of power you think we're gonna have? And they came here illegally. Their ancestors were not here. They didn't go through the struggle. They didn't go through Jim Crow. You got to get in line and do it the right way. And you're not going to thwart opportunities for black people in this country. And if anybody cares about opportunities for black people, and they're saying they're not afforded these opportunities, they're getting taken away from them, this is one of the points that we should all be in unison on, is saying that these illegal people who come in this country that take opportunities from Americans is wrong.
Lois?
Well, the way that I feel about this country is we're all illegals in this country.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.
First of all, I knew it'd be controversial. I knew it was going to be controversial to say that. I do believe that black people built this country for free. I do believe that. But I also believe that we're all on stolen land. This is not our country.
All right, you got to stop. Like, first of all, like, people have to stop with this. Black people built this country for free. How? This country was built by a bunch of different people. This idea that black people just built this country for free, like, that's not how that works. That's just ahistoric nonsense. We have to be real with ourselves. And it wasn't for free because there was no arrangement for them to get paid for it. That's not how that worked. Like, people need to just accept history and stop with this nonsense. And it's not stolen land because no one owns the land. You own the land to the extent that you can maintain ownership of it and defend it and protect it. Once you can't do that, it's no longer yours. What gave ownership of the land to the Indians? You only own things to the extent that you can use force to maintain the ownership. Did they build it? Did they create it? Or did they find it and decided that it was theirs? So they really stole the land. So technically, everybody just stole everything.
It's not. And so, because
whose country?
Native Americans.
Who? Which one? Which tribe?
I don't know which tribe.
The one who killed them to get them to kill the other ones, to kill the other ones.
Listen,
Whose tribe?
it's anti. Listen, let me say this. Do I believe that America has an immigration problem? Absolutely. I'll be the first person to say that. I don't believe any president, Democrat, Republican, has gotten it right. I think it's really a real challenge in this country.
Do you believe, Crystal, that our immigration problem is disenfranchising blacks?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
All right.
I reject the premise that quote unquote illegal immigrants are taking jobs away from black people. I reject that premise.
Okay.
I mean, they are disadvantaging. They're taking resources that they don't contribute to. So they are disadvantaging people in this society who pay into the system by the very fact that when they come here, they're using up resources that they did not contribute to. Anyways, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.